Hi, Gianna here, and I'm here to give you your coaching session on what I call the verbal frame. This is the holy grail of all the different language patterns I've learned over the years. Some of the things that I've kind of acquired myself, but a lot of the language patterns that I've adopted from the various different schools of thought, like NLP, clean language, provocative therapy, all those different things. So this is, this is all encompassing. It's not like a language pattern to give you something specific to cut through information. It's not to help you explore someone's higher intentions. It's not just to reflect something back to people, to what they're saying, so they can reflect on their thoughts. It's all of that and a little bit more. So the verbal frame is a holistic pattern, and it's something that once you get used to the processes and the patterns of the language, that that it becomes part of your normal working behavior. So if you're a coach, a therapist, a trainer, a change worker, this is great. And what you can do is you can do a dance between your clients, shifting reality, and some of these patterns will just kick in automatically. So you'll be talking to somebody, then you think, need a bit more information, and then you start to drill down, and you'll be like, what's going on here? And you might chunk up to a higher level of abstraction. You might also need to be able to reflect back to a client to get some lost information, so you can do that as well. But you can also prod your client and provoke them if they're still being vague. So here we go. I want you to see it like a kind of like a bit of a matrix or a web, something like that. I'd like you to be able to view it like a kind of a dartboard or something that we can focus on whilst we're learning, so that when we get really good at it, we can forget it later on and just be ourselves. So just imagine a target or something like that. When we're speaking to our clients, like I'm speaking to you now, you may be giving me some information that's really, really vague. It's like, I've got this problem, and it's my mother. That's my mother. That kind of thing. If that's the case, we need to drill down for more detail. So this is very much like the NLP meta model, using the nouns, which specifically, what specifically, where specifically, and the verbs, like how specifically, or nouns again, whom specifically. So we're drilling down with the NLP meta model for lost information, drilling all the way down. And all we do is we simply say who specifically, what specifically, where specifically, things like that. Or you can just say who, where, what, whom, and if they're still being vague, just say specifically, I need more information. So that's a great way of drilling down, and this kind of incorporates John Grinder's verbal package, but yeah, it's a little bit different. So we drill down for lost information. We can ask people, what's your intention? And they go, I think I want to do this. And we'll go, specifically, what's your specific intention for doing this? If someone needs to get on a different kind of level, we can go up to a higher level of abstraction. And up here, we can use language patterns which are akin to what we know as clean language, where we may say, that's like what? We'll go, I've got this thing, and we'll go, that's like what? And it's really vague. We're not imposing anything onto the person, and we're just getting them to go on a bit of a search, and they go, it's like, and more often than enough, they'll provide us with a very nice metaphor. It's like raging fire in my stomach or something like that. And then we can be clean again up there. And then what? And what next? Just simple linking words like that, which are very clean and don't impose any content on the client whatsoever. So we can use the clean language up there, Also up there, we can ask, what's your higher intention for doing all this? Is there a higher overreaching positive intention for doing this behavior that we need to address? What's it about? The universe, your higher self. So this is the high level of abstraction up here, and down here is where we drill down for lost information. But there's also another level, which is meeting the client on the kind of same level, on a parallel level. So a client might say to us, I've got this problem and it's to do with my mother. And we can relay stuff back to them. So we can say, well, what I'm hearing is that you've got a problem to do with your mother and it's because of this. Is that correct? And then they'll come back and go, yes it is. Or they'll go, no it's not. Then you'll go, and then what? Which is a bit up there. And then what? And then they'll give us the information that we need. Also on this level we can say, what I'm saying is that this is something to do with your current environment. Is that right? And then they'll come back to us again and they'll go, yes it is, or no it isn't. So we're using mirroring words to play back to the client, where if they say something like, oh, I've got this problem with my mother, we can play it back to them, paraphrasing. So you're saying you've got a problem with your mother. So paraphrase is really, really useful. We can mirror their exact, body language, their micro muscle movements. We can also mirror the language, which is what this is about. So that's known as a paraphrase. But we can say things like, what I'm saying is, what I'm hearing is, what it sounds like is that this is to do with this. Is that correct? And the purpose of meeting the client at this level is only just to validate what we think we're hearing. And most of all, it comes directly from the client. So if they said, no, it's because of this, then you think, great. Well, that's what I was thinking. Or you think, great. Well, I never even thought of that. So it's kind of a bit of a two-way interplay, an alliance between coach, therapist, trainer, or audience, or whatever. And it's just used as a process of validation. So we've got this level up here. What's that like? What's that about? What else? And then what? And then what next? And what's your higher purpose? And down here, we've got specifically. We can use other words as well to make it better, rather than just going specifically, like NLP meta model robot. We can say, can you elaborate on that? So we're chunked down. And we've got the level of mirroring the client and paraphrasing back for validation. But the other thing we've got, kind of on this level, to provoke a response, to give us the lost information that we need with our clients, is provocation. So we can meet them on this level, but rather than just being nice and soft and elegant, which is, I suppose, our ultimate goal, is to be nice and elegant and things to work out smoothly. But when they don't, and the client's either lying or the client's withholding information, then we need to prod them. We need to give them a kick. We need to give them a boost. We need to challenge their reality. So what we can do in that context to provoke a response, there's one example I use. Well, it's if someone's, there's one example that I use. It is to do with if a person's like got impotence and they're not being very clear with you. They've got sexual dysfunction and they're not being very clear with you with the information, and they're holding stuff back, which they've probably done for years anyway. I'll say, well, John, it sounds to me like you've got just a bad case of Brewer's droop. Is that right? You've got a bad case of Brewer's droop. Is that right? And the person will come back, what are you talking about? Of course it's not. It's because of this. And the information comes out. So that's an extreme example. You can use other stuff which isn't so extreme. And I don't always do this, by the way. It's kind of a last resort. And you've got to do it with a twinkle in your eye. And if you have a twinkle in your eye and you have very good rapport with your client, then you can pretty much get away with anything, because if they're laughing, then they're in your kind of model of the world, and they're more willing to free up this information that we need to help them even more. If we're going back to the start, when I'm talking about someone saying, well, it's about my mother, I could provoke them in a manner of speaking. I could provoke them by saying, well, it sounds to me, John, like you're just a great big mummy's boy and that you haven't grown up. How does that sound? And they'll go, yeah, that's correct. Or they'll go, oh, what are you talking about? It's not because of that. It's because my dad left me when I was 5 years old. And I think, oh, thank God for that. Thank you so much for relinquishing that information, and now I can help you even more. And that's the important thing. If people are so restrained about giving you information, which is not uncommon, especially in like therapy and things like that, somebody may have kept something inside for 20, 30 years. They've never told anybody about it, and it's their right to hold on to that information if that's what they want to do. But it's your job, if you're in a therapeutic context or a coaching context, is to get that information out and get the person moving on as quickly as possible. So the positive provocation works very, very well. That's what I've found. You're just a great big mummy's boy. Is that right? And it all comes out. And the most important thing really, once that information does come out, because the person might feel vulnerable, is to applaud them for giving you that information and support them. So you might want to say, well done, John, that's brilliant. I'm so pleased that you've given me that information, because that's information that I personally didn't have. And even though I might say things that are quite provocative to you or quite challenging sometimes and make you feel uncomfortable, that's part of my job. And the ultimate goal is not to maintain your discomfort, but to make you feel more comfort so that you move on in life and have more freedom and success. So in summary, this is the verbal frame. This is your dartboard to work from. Just remember, down there, your diagram, a lower logical level of abstraction, so we're drilling down, narrow it down for information, find out what levels things are on. Oh, it's to do with my mother. Okay, which part specifically to do with your mother? So drilling down, and on this level, we're meeting the client at the level, mirroring back, listening, feeding information back in this process, and sometimes, boom, provoking them on this level. And up here, we've got the nice level of abstraction, which can be totally relevant for people. Sometimes we don't always want to be specific, and sometimes we want, if we could just identify with our higher intention or our higher self. Maybe we're spiritual, maybe we're religious, or maybe there's something to do with our family or the universe. Some people believe in God, so once they address that, a lot of the detail sometimes sorts itself out on the lower levels and on this level. So high abstraction, low abstraction on the same level. And that's the verbal frame. That's all from me, Jay, on it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now go out there in the world and use it. Use it on your clients when they're being vague. When people have something that they want to connect with in life, explore their bigger intentions. What's that like? And that's like, what? Unpack stuff. That's what this is all about there. Go off and use it, and I hope you have a great time. I'll see you on the next video session. Cheers. Goodbye. Bye.